Welcome home. I'm Ryan.
I'm Elie.
And today we don't have any drinks.
We don't.
We had dinner not too long ago watching
Glow Up.
Glow Up is what it's called on Netflix. And yeah, it's actually pretty. So first thing is it was a high of 66 today. Kind of breezy, and I'm wearing shorts. Elie is wearing jeans and
a
whatever
t-shirt
this
and
is.
a cardigan.
And also, if you're watching this, you will recognize or realize that Elie cut her hair, which hasn't happened in a long time.
This is my new look. It's to my shoulders.
And
love
I
it.
also do need a haircut pretty soon, I think. And Ellie's going to give me one pretty soon, I think.
Apparently.
And yeah, Ellie's hair looks great. I don't care if it's long or short. The only I joked about it, but the only thing I care about is if it's like shorter than mine, I think would be the problem. But I mean, obviously it's her hair. Do what you want with it. But other than that, let's talk about a few things before we call it a day.
We just started.
So what has been going on? We haven't, I think this happens every time we record. We talk about how we haven't been recording because we've been busy. Realized that the house, the laundry room and bathroom renovation is going to be a lot harder and going to take a lot longer than expected because the plumbing situation, which I have to redo the whole plumbing in the whole house, at least the main line, and that's expensive and a lot of work. But it's way easier, I think, to do that because everything's already there, so you can just like copy all the parts. But it's really expensive and it takes a lot of time. I'm waiting for one part to come in. I don't know if it's going to come in tomorrow. Do I don't have any other time this week to do it because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I work from 12:30 to 9, and I can't do anything in the morning Wednesday because I'm busy. And then if I do anything Thursday or Friday morning, I will have to make sure I'm finished before I go to work. And I don't know if that's doable with my schedule. So I might have to do it Saturday. But I don't know if we're busy on Saturday. I haven't looked at the thing yet. But with that being said, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was the fact that so our neighbor who has the dog, who just is like the neighborhood dog, we named him Cusco. I think his real name is Ruben, but I don't know because I've only heard the neighbors call his name like once or twice, and I think that's what I heard.
It sounded like Ruben.
So I think that's his name, but he doesn't really listen. The dog doesn't really listen. But what I'm trying to get to is that the neighbor, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one because I feel like it happened before we recorded the last one. But long story short, our neighbor, I think either is in the hospital or passed away. Something's up because no one's been in or out of that house for like a good 2-3 weeks now. And there was two people that came by not too long ago, like looking at a few things, and I feel like they're family members. So I don't know what's going on. But because no one's there to take care of the dog, and the dog is already like malnourished because the only food that he gets is human food scraps, I should say. And I think the other dog of theirs, I don't know what happened to it. I think they probably let that dog inside. Maybe that dog is actually dead inside. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know because there was an ambulance there one night, like the middle of the night, with his lights on. There was more than one
person living there, though.
I think there was only 2.
They didn't both die.
No, but I think the son is with the dad. I'm only assuming that that's their relationship, and in the hospital or something, like waiting for him to die or something. I don't know. I don't understand this situation. But then there was an ambulance, maybe like sometime later in the day, and there was 2 people there, like with their masks on and like doing stuff, but I don't know how long they were there for. And then probably like a week later, there was a sheriff there, and I don't know what's going on, but I have been like taking care of their dog. Like I said, I named him Cusco, and I've kind of already been taking care of him, like feeding him every now and again. But now I have to feed him like once or twice a day. And then all of a sudden, there was another dog that showed up out of nowhere, like a white and brown one. And that dog is a girl. And I can tell you, Cusco is not fixed. And I'm pretty sure she either is pregnant or is going to be pregnant because, yeah. So this dog comes along like yesterday. And then this morning we get up, we look outside, and there's another dog out there. So there's 3 stray dogs that I'm kind of taking care of, which I'm fine with. I think, these stray animals who are either like dropped off or forgotten about and, malnourished and whatever, need some food. And if I have the ability to feed them, I'm going to. But that also is kind of a negative because our dog is barking McBarkster when he doesn't know the dog that's around. Cusco, him and Cusco, like he calmed down with him. I wouldn't say right away, but I mean I've let them play together before, but they're fine. But it's this new dog, and I think our dog Major wants to like really discover and
I think like
sniff this dog out.
I think half of him is like really curious and wants to play, but I think the other half is like he's scared or like territorial, like dogs, especially male dogs.
Plus this new dog, that the white and brown one, I saw a couple ticks like on the very surface of their fur, so of her fur. So I don't know what else that dog has, but now since her and Cusco hooked up, probably because Cusco follows her everywhere and they follow each other, like they're like a pair now. So now I can't let Major play with Cusco at all. And I mean, when I touch either of the dogs, I've already been washing my hands and make sure I don't touch Major right away or let Cusco and Major get like too close to each other.
No, you're like extra cautious.
But now I'm like, I can't even let them be 2 feet away.
Yeah.
And it just sucks because the backyard, the dogs have access to through 1, a gate, and 2, side the fence on the side here. There's a section missing because it was kind of already falling over, and I got rid of the chicken coop, which kept it up. So they're in the backyard sometimes. They're in the not in the front yard, but in the front section of the house. What am I trying to say? They're in the road. And you can see them in the, if you're in the front yard, you can see almost all the way around. And Major is just going either ballistic outside or inside and scaring Eugene. So, but other than that, also earlier when you were on the phone, I'm pretty sure either the sliding door was cracked open a little bit to the point where Eugene was able to like paw it open. I don't think the other dog outside opened it. But when I heard the chime...
No, that's what I was going to say.
When I heard the chime, I legit... My heart stopped for a second because I was like, 1, the front door's not open. 2, what other door is open now? Which, now that I'm thinking of, is only the sliding door because the other door does not have a sensor on it anymore since it's new. And I was thinking, who's in the house now?
I was like, someone's breaking in. But... if we didn't have that chime, Eugenie would have snuck out.
He would have. He probably would have died. Because I don't know what that dog's like, and I don't know what Cusco's like with Eugene.
Yeah,
so
another addition to the Eugenie Chronicles.
Yeah, he somehow opened a sliding door. Obviously, it wasn't locked shut, and I don't think it was shut all the way because we were just barbecuing stuff.
He literally, guys, almost just walked right out the back door, and it's funny because yesterday I also accidentally let him out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's another thing. But sheriff showed up to our house.
Yeah. They showed up. So yesterday, It wasn't yesterday.
Yes. It was yesterday. Right?
No, I went to work, didn't I? I went to Highland.
No, it was yesterday. No, it was yesterday.
No, I went to Highland. It wasn't yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. Because when I went to... I was going to leave. It was 1:15. No, it wasn't Highland. I had to go. I had to drop my car off. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. I was like,
I was
guys.
super confused right now.
I know this was not like 5 days ago. It was yesterday.
I sold my car and I had to drive down about 30 minutes away. And I was like 15 minutes early, but I walk outside and there's a sheriff backed in our driveway. And obviously when any type of cop car is in your driveway, you're thinking like,
who called the cops on me?
I'm going to get shot, or like I need to put my hands up because I don't know where they're at. And I'm looking around.
FBI,
I don't see anything going on. The lights aren't on. Nothing's on.
Yeah, just backed in too.
Yeah, I saw like one of the neighbors like kind of looking towards the car and like talking. So I was thinking he must be talking to the officer. So then I was walking out there and I didn't get too close behind him. I kind of just went around a bit. So I'm not like 5 feet away from him when he sees me. I'm like 10, 15 feet. Mm-hmm. But long story short, I think something had happened where someone called about a white car. And I'm thinking the cop came, saw your white car.
Yeah.
And then probably just backed up and into the driveway and talked to the neighbors.
I think so too.
And then they told him a different house, and then he
went to the other house with the white car.
And then while I was leaving, there was another sheriff that came in.
So like right after Ryan left, I was being nosy because I was like, I want to hear, because we didn't really get much information from the cop other than this suspicious white car.
And he's just trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, got to figure this out or whatever. And so Ryan left, and as soon as Ryan left, another sheriff pulls up, and it doesn't pull into our driveway, but the other sheriff is already at one of our neighbor's house at this point, another neighbor with a white car. And so then the sheriff pulls into that driveway. So now there's two sheriffs in that driveway. And I open the window because I want to hear the conversation. And if you're watching, the window wasn't even open like this much, guys. Like,
yeah, probably a few inches.
A few inches, like not very much at all. And I don't know if we've mentioned this, but not all of our windows have screens because we need to replace them.
Yeah, and I don't have enough of the frame part to fix all the windows. And some of them were actually already missing screens when we moved in. And because some of the frames were bent or broken, not all of them will have screens in them anyways.
Yeah,
so I have to get that fixed.
So like, I'm not the type to really think about anything. So I opened it not thinking if there was a screen, not even thinking to check if there was a screen. And literally just a couple inches, like a few inches. And I'm recording myself at this point because I'm like being a too small son. I'm like snapping my friends and my sister. And I'm like, guys, there's cops at my house. And now they're at my neighbor's house. And I'm trying to figure out. And I guess I didn't save the video and I'm upset because I wanted to show Ryan. But literally while I'm recording, I just see a tail jump out the window. Like I just see all I see is Eugenie's tail going out the window. And I was like, and I got up and I ran to the front door because I was like, I'm going to grab him. Like I know he's going to like be like wandering off all quick because he knows he's not supposed to be out there. So I go to the front door. As soon as I open it, he runs back in. And I'm like, this dude left the house, like got outside again. And this was yesterday and he got out again today, dude.
Well, he almost got out. Like he opened the door, but I think the fact that the dog was there and also that I jumped up so quickly, I think he kind of came like, I don't know how close he was, but I think he just knew, like, oh my God, now this dog has access to me and I need to go because my owner's coming. Something like that. I bet he knows exactly.
So if you're invested in Eugenie's adventure, the adventures of Eugenie, there's another episode for you, but funny times. But yeah, Ryan sold his car.
Yeah, I sold my car. It was a 2003 Toyota Camry. I sold it for $1,700. I wanted to sell it for $2,500, but I was willing to go down to about $2,000. But the guy, he lives about an hour away, so he lives a little bit more than an hour away. We met kind of in the middle, so he drove about 45 minutes in a truck, by the way, and
Oh, did he bring someone to pick up the
yes. He took the car, and I think his friend took the truck. But
car? Oh, okay.
I was taking my car, and I didn't want Elie to follow me because I didn't want to take two cars and have two people waste 30 minutes of time. Actually,
Just in
an
case
hour,
he didn't buy it.
in case he doesn't buy it, because I was like, it doesn't make any sense. And we were meeting at a McDonald's, so I was like, I can just chill in the McDonald's for half an hour while Ellie's on her way. Also, her parents' house is on the way, a few minutes, not much, but it does make a little bit of a difference. But we also had to go to her parents' house. And long story short, one of the first things that he checked, he talked about the seats, because the front seats were damaged, and I told him about how I wanted to get them replaced, and I couldn't find any. And then he checked underneath the hood and said, there's some sort of leak here, like an oil leak, maybe at one point. And I was just kind of being honest with him. I was like, yeah, I mean, I was just being honest. And he had offered on Facebook Messenger, at first he had offered $1,800. And I kind of wish I just accepted that. But we go for a test drive, and the first thing that he realizes is the shocks in the back need to be replaced. And I was like, oh, dang. I thought I could probably get away with him not knowing that.
He knew what he was talking about.
But he definitely did, and I feel like he actually was probably just going to sell it. I don't know.
He kind of, the way that you've been talking about it, it kind of feels like he's going to fix it up and sell it again.
Yeah, which,
but
good for
fine,
him.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't have the time and the time to do it. I don't want to keep that car around any longer, just because I don't want it to sit there and get mice infested or some sort of rodent up in there and just being damaged by the sun. And I don't want to drive it anymore because I don't want to. One, I don't have insurance for it. Two, I didn't want to use any more gas. Then I have to go to the gas station, and I already cleaned it and did all the detail work on it, and I didn't want it to get dirty again. So it's been sitting for a couple weeks, and I had to get a freaking brand new battery for it, which sucked. But yeah, I probably should have fought for 2,000 a little bit more, but I just told him, honestly, I hate it because I do need it gone, and I don't want to drive it back. So I got $1,700, and today I put it in the bank. So yeah, that car does have an oil leak problem, and the tires will probably need to be replaced fairly soon. There's a slight alignment issue, and the front seats are a little torn up, and the headliner is coming apart. So I guess it makes sense, but my dad bought it for me. I don't know how long ago,
4 years ago.
4 or 5, 6 years ago.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
For after taxes and fees and stuff, I think it was $3,000. So I mean, not really worth it, but like I said, I just don't have the time to fix it up and properly get everything fixed. And I mean, I need that money to pay for what I fix on the truck, and then hopefully something on her car with winter tires, because it sucks in the winter. Either that or just get new tires, but your tires are better than what my car was. So I think we'll probably have to try to keep it. We'll probably just have to get winter tires. But what else? Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons why I was going to get rid of it was because if I really looked into it, I'm probably spending the same amount of money. It's just I have one car, one vehicle to drive. And so that's one insurance payment to pay, one set of tabs, one card for gas. Although it's like, I'm trying to say it's half as good as my car. It gets about 14 miles to a gallon. My car got around 28. And it has a huge tank, bigger than my car, which was already big to begin with. Mm-hmm. But long story short, I just didn't want to spend money on two cars that I'm trying to split up my driving. And majority of the time right now, I'm going to need to drive the truck to get stuff, to go to the dump. And I kind of am done with having multiple cars in our driveway. And actually, the upkeep on trying to get all three cars for maintenance and stuff, like that takes a lot of time and energy to do it. Because I like doing it myself. I think I've only taken it to get it done professionally a few times. Just cars in general, but yeah, I just think it would be a lot better just to drive the truck. And if I need to go a long distance and like go to the store real quick and I have the ability to drive Ellie's, I will. Her car gets better gas mileage than mine, oddly enough. So we should have been driving it for
But we didn't think so in the beginning, I feel like.
Yeah, and plus it has like a tiny tank compared to mine. So, but other than that, yeah, just busy, taking our time doing stuff. For me, I haven't really worked in a while. The last time I worked about 3 or 4 days in Highland. That was last month? No. Yeah, it was no. I mean, the time that I worked about like 3 or 4 days, like kind of in a row, was about last month. And then last week I worked there for a day. And I did have the ability to work like 2-3 weeks, but I was like, I cannot do that. I cannot. And I'm not going to drive up there every day. Yeah. And get home around 11:30 midnight for 3 weeks in a row, driving the truck especially. So, but I did get contacted by Wapato for a few days. So that's what I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. So, but I haven't worked there in like a month and a half now. Technically 2 months, like the time, but
same.
It's going to be easy to just get right back into it. I think they have a new custodian there. So we'll see. I really don't want to do one of the custodians area because I don't like it as much as the other ones, but we'll see. Yeah, just taking our time, like I said. Also, I wanted to mention the glass for that stupid china cabinet of your grandma's. So I went to Lowe's today to get a few parts, and I thought, it's a great time to get the replacement glass because I'll be there. I have the truck, whatever. And when I looked online, the biggest piece they have is 36 inches long, and I need 37, almost 38. So it'll be almost 2 inches too short. And so I was looking, and it wasn't too expensive, but it was the fact that it wasn't long enough. So I was like, I'm just going to have to go and double check to make sure, like, what can I do to get this replacement glass? Then I looked at, I forgot what it's called, plastic sheets that look like glass, those, whatever they're called. They're not too expensive, but I thought, how cheap would it look and actually feel? Like, how much would it ruin the look and just the value of the cabinet if there's 2 or 3 panels that aren't glass that are this plastic. And if I do them all, then it's a lot more expensive, and I think it would just ruin the heck out of like the value of it if all of them are like that, or even just a couple. But I might call McKinney Glass just to see. I mean, I don't really want to, but Amazon's glass like pieces that are the exact size are like $200 a piece. So I can't go that route. So I don't know. But I did break one of the glass panels a while ago, moving it. So now I feel like I actually really have to get it replaced. I don't know. But other than that, do you have anything to mention? How's work going?
Right now I'm dealing with allergies, and it's really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in one side of my face. I feel like my nose is burning and itchy and runny, but also stuffed at the same time.
I'm thinking we have some allergy meds that you should.
I think we do, and I'm like nonstop sneezing, like all day. I've been sneezing, but work isn't too bad. We started state testing, so that's been taking up a big chunk of our day every day. What else? I counted today. I have about 32 school days left. That's not very many. I can make it.
How many have you been working so far?
I did not count that many. More than 32.
So
I feel like I'm pretty sure I'm more than halfway through.
Yeah. Which will go by fast.
It has been going by fast so far. The days feel really long, but then I'm like, oh, it's the weekend again. Oh, it's the weekend again. But yeah. Behaviors have been off and on, I will say. It does help that my biggest behavior child has been absent for over 2 weeks now. But I still, like, they're not the only child in my class with big behaviors. But one of my other, like, problem children has been, like, really opening up to me lately and has been kind and respectful. So I'm hoping that stays the same. He's still a little, like, antsy and goofy and silly, and, like, it's hard to tame that. But it's no longer super disrespectful at the same time. Like, he's still pretty respectful. That's the thing that, like, bothers me, is when kids are disrespectful. But I don't really remember what was mentioned.
I don't.
Was it not recording the whole time?
It is, but I'm sorry. I'm kind of like confused. The camera usually like goes off and back on, but it hasn't gotten back on, so I'm gonna touch it real quick. You can keep talking.
Okay. Also, I'm used to seeing that monitor on this side. I can't remember. Did we talk about me applying for jobs?
I think so, but
I guess I could give
some
an
update.
Yeah. Recently I applied for jobs. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the last episode. But I did get notification emails from the district, one of the districts that I applied in, and a lot of the positions have been filled without closing the application or without any, at least to my knowledge, interviews. So that's really frustrating because I'm like, what a waste of time on my end. What a waste of time on my references end. Because for every district, you have to complete the same process and upload all of your materials and ask references to submit letter of references to you. And in our, like, for some reason, a lot of the districts in my area are like not like letters of recommendation that someone can just have printed up and keep submitting. It's like a form that they have to submit every time. And so, like, that's just like, I just feel like it's such a waste of time. And it's like embarrassing to have to ask people to be your reference multiple times because you applied, and then these districts are changing their minds on who they want to hire, or I don't know. I just feel like they're supposed to open the position in district first without public knowledge and just fill the positions by a certain date. And then if no one applies by that certain date, or if no one gets hired by that certain date, then they open it to the public. But this certain district, the biggest district in our area, has not been doing that. They've just been, at least what I think, is that they've just been opening them as the position is empty, and they just let everyone apply, and then they end up going with someone in district, which as they should, but they should just separate the processes, because it's like a waste of time for people.
I almost feel like maybe there's a problem with the in district like job posting, like portal situation.
Yeah,
so maybe that's why.
I kind of feel like maybe someone isn't clicking the right buttons. Like, I don't think it's like malicious, or like maybe it's not intended to be that way, but it is a big waste of time. And then also, like, you get your hopes up because you're like, I've applied for 8 jobs, and then you get an email that's like, these 7 positions have been closed or have been filled, and like, you don't even get the notification that the position was closed, or that the pool was closed, or that they're closed for interviews, or they're screening through the applications. Like, I've gotten one notification that a job has been closed and they're now screening. But the rest of those jobs that I applied for in that district are like closed, position filled. Like, not even a notification that they're looking at your documents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you get your hopes up for nothing. It's a very tiring process. But I did apply for another position yesterday, and I just keep trying to check frequently, but not super frequently. So that way, like, I don't know, I'm not bummed every day when I don't see one. It is still kind of early in the job hunting season for teachers, but at the same time, like, time's ticking.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want to.
It's better to be early than late.
Yeah, I would rather know now what I'm going to be doing in August and be able to plan for that, because, like, what if I have to drive 35 minutes every day? Like, I don't know. It just makes a difference with the commute and stuff. And I would love to know what grade level, so that way I can spend the summer preparing for my classroom to teach that grade level. But a lot of the times you just don't know until 2 weeks before, and it's crunch time. So.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of, last thing to mention is Saturday.
Oh yeah,
was a community yard sale day for one of the towns we live by, and there's probably around 90 to 100 houses doing yard sales. And as even just as like a teacher, or just as a homeowner, it can be very beneficial to go yard sailing, because we don't have a coffee table or end tables in our living room. There's a few things that I would have liked to have gotten that there wasn't anything available. But one of the things is I got a compost bin for free on the side of the road, which was great because that was like the first thing that kind of we saw. And then we got a what's it called? Exercise bike.
Yeah.
I always want to say like e-bike or some sort of bicycle thing, but exercise,
isn't it like stationary bike too?
something like that. And that was $60. I was on it today for a little bit, and it does seem there's like a little something wrong with it, but it might be the power cord because it's not the original. So that's whatever. But and the seat's a little tough.
Oh yeah, I think I want to go on the elliptical today. But.
And then we got a few things like board games, DVDs, stuff like that. I
wanted to get things for my classroom.
Yeah.
So my main, like, I had my eye on books, especially for my classroom library. And just like board games and puzzles and stuff, because I feel like those are things that, like, you can get really for any grade level. Yes, books kind of need to be leveled a little bit, but I I really wanted to get those two things, and I think I hit the jackpot. Like, one of the was it the last house? No, one of the last houses we went to. It was the last house we bought things from, I think.
Yeah.
We went, and this person had a ton of children's books, like a bunch. And like the most that any house that we had gone to had so far. And I was getting a little discouraged at some point because I was like, I'm not finding everything I want to. And there's supposed to be 100
and actually
that house houses.
We weren't going to go to.
We weren't going to go to that house. We just ended up stopping by. And so I started picking through the books, and my mom just kept saying, why don't you ask how much she would sell all of the books to you for? But I was like, no, I don't want all of them. And like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get like some here and there. And I was also just really like anxious. Like I did not want to have to ask because like, I don't know. I really didn't want to. And so I'm picking through all the books, and my mom was like grabbing some for my niece. And, then my mom was like, I'm going to ask. So my mom asked the girl, and she said, oh, I'm selling them for $5 for $1, which is really cheap, like really cheap for children's books. And like they all have like writing on them because the teacher that owned them like wrote her name in them. But like they're not all of them are like damaged. Like they're not in bad condition. And so I was like, okay, at first I was like, okay, I'm going to get like, I don't know, I'm going to get a lot of books because $5 for $1 is really cheap. And then I was like, just ask. So I was like, okay, how much would you sell these 3 boxes to me for? And they're like pretty big boxes. They're like printer paper boxes and like 1 crate, I think. And they're packed full of books. Like I'm talking like over 100 books I got. And she was like, I'll sell you those 3 boxes for $10. And I was like, sold. So I just put the books that had already been picking out back and took the boxes. And then another lady that was like shopping around asked the yard saler, she was like, you have so many, I think she just mentioned like, you have so many books, like kids books. And the lady that was selling them was like, oh, I wanted to be a teacher, but I ended up having a baby, and like that dream of mine is gone. Like she's gonna be a stay-at-home mom now or something like that. And I was like, well, I'm a teacher, so I really appreciate all of these books. And so I feel like, especially like at the kindergarten level, like if I teach a lower elementary 1st grade, I feel like I'm pretty much set. Like I have to go through them for sure, especially because one of the boxes is all like leveled readers, like phonics books. And those, my dream would be to be able to like sort through them by level and organize them by level, and then also see how many copies I have of each one. And I would like to do like a take home system with those ones, and like they read them at home, check them off with a parent, and then as they keep leveling up, they get to pick a new book from a different level. That's just my goal. I've seen that done in one of my practicum classes. And then also they're really old phonics books. Like if they don't return them, I'm not going to be heartbroken. Like,
and they were technically like 5 cents a piece.
Yeah, like it's really not that big of a deal. And then like if I have an excess amount, like those can just be books that I give away to kids anyways. But I just figured, you know what, I'm not even going to sort through these right now. I'm probably going to do the same thing she did. Pick out the ones I want and then donate the rest, like to another person that needs books. And so yeah, I got a lot of books, and that's just from one place. I got more books from another house. I got like a box of like treasure box stuff, things like bouncy balls and bracelets and things like that I forgot I was going to bring to school today, because I'm not keeping that for my classroom. It was cheap. It was like what, $1? Not even. Remember. It was $1 for this giant box of things. And so I'm just going to give them out to my kids. Their treasure box needs to be refilled anyways. But what else? I got a shirt. What else did we get? Oh, yeah, just a bunch of games. Like I got puzzles because I want to build like my collection of board games and puzzles for like indoor recess and choice time and like morning activities
Mm-hmm.
instead of just kids running around my classroom watching TikToks like my current classroom.
Yeah. And the last thing on this topic is that we passed by my old house and
My goodness.
I it was kind of like a new thing. The people who bought it from us are selling it. Well, they sold it. And I thought, well, maybe they're having a yard sale. Who knows? It's a great day to have one, even if you didn't put it down on the map or anything. And what do you know, they are. And it wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but it was, something. And
it was like big items.
Yeah, quite a few.
Like they had
some
2
couches,
full sets of couches.
Some like other furniture,
yeah,
like books,
dressers, bookcases.
So I just want to drop by and say hi because I haven't seen them since we sold them the house. And the wife, she had mentioned something along the lines of like, yeah, I talked to your dad about the piano. We can't take it, and we're going to have to leave it here unless you want it, because my dad didn't want it because he didn't have any room. And I don't remember my dad ever talking to me about it, and I think it was kind of like I think he was asked it not too long ago, so I think he would have mentioned it to me. But I was like, in my head, I was thinking, no, not really, because one, it's a big, heavy piano, and it needs tuned, and it's just old, and it's been sitting in the garage for years. I'm talking like many, many years now. But Elie really wanted it, and I was thinking, let's go take a look at it, because I was like, I want to see this piano again. I kind of want to see the garage again. And she
I
was
literally
really nice.
mouthed to him, I'm like, we're getting the piano.
Yeah. And so we go in, we look at the piano, and I like touch the keys a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I guess we'll take it. And we kind of made a deal with them about we'll have to figure out a day pretty soon, the next couple of weeks, because they're busy, they're moving, they're trying to get everything situated because the new people are wanting to move in sooner, and that's a whole story. And the husband can't really lift a whole lot of stuff because he had a back injury, and I don't know how, we're going to have to put it in the shop, at least for now. But also, too, I don't know how we're going to, like, move it. I know how we're going to transport it, because he said we can borrow, he can drive his, like, horse trailer thing, and it's fairly low to the ground, which would be good. But also, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to move it. Well, we'll see.
I grew up playing the piano.
And I've always wanted
the piano. And, like, I don't know. I just have always had a piano in my home, I guess. Like, my mom played the piano as a kid. And then she raised her kids to play the piano. And so, like, I would love for my kids to be able to, like, if they want to play the piano or if they're just, like, gifted, they have a piano at home to play on. And then also, like, I just think pianos are great decor pieces, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not like a grand piano, but it's an upright.
Yeah.
It's actually a piano that's kind of been in my family for a while. I think my dad said something along the lines of like it was his grandma's piano, and no one else in the family would take it because, like I said, it's really heavy and it's big, and not everyone has room for it. And so it's really cool and nice to be able to keep it in the family. And we basically just stored it at the house for several years, and now I can have it. But it's not like super ugly. It doesn't have a bench, and it's out of tune. And what I was gonna say something else about it. I think I was gonna say something. Oh, we have a keyboard, an electric piano type thing, that kind of keyboard.
Does it have like a suspension pedal?
Yeah, and so I got that at Toys R Us when they were closing, so I got it for like a pretty good deal. But electric like instruments literally just play a recorded sound. of the original. And so I think this one, I feel like if you press it lightly, it does like a softer sound maybe. But it's not a real piano. So you're not going to get that same sound. Obviously with the keyboard,
there's not a suspension pedal on
you like have different types of pianos that you're playing, but at the same time that's for other things. And if you have like a nicer keyboard, it's better and stuff, and have like softer keys, and also a pedal for it, which we can buy. But yeah, this
I think
yeah.
Also, like, I'm just dreaming about, like, during Christmas time, like, pianos are good decor pieces. Like, they're just on their own. I feel like they, like, help decorate. But also, like, during Christmas time, like, you could put Christmas decorations on top of it. Or, like, on I don't know what it's called, but where you put the music. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also need a piano.
We'll see, because the piano is probably going to go where the elliptical and the bike are at eventually, and then the bike and the elliptical will go in the shop eventually. But right now it's going to be swapped, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have to talk about today. I guess just to recap, it's been busy. Our cat's scratching at the door. He's a freaking menace. He acts like he's starving 24/7. We got about 20 minutes until he needs to be fed, though.
He hates closed doors.
Yeah. Like sometimes in the mornings, you can kind of hear him at the door, but lately it's been backflips off the door in the morning and scratching and scratching and scratching and meowing and meowing.
Well, I feed him. He eats and then goes straight to the door once it open. I'm like...
Yeah. But anyways, anything else for you?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm not going to mess up on this one. Thank you guys so much for coming in and being a part of this conversation. And something along the lines of, you're always going to be welcome in our home. That's the whole point of this podcast. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.